Frank said that you got the defensive game ball tonight, 5 steals, just generally disrupting stuff in the paint. What were you seeing and trying to impact on that side of the floor tonight?
All right, my man, don't do that. Just trying to be in a position where I can help my team be successful on the defensive end. It was a slow-paced game, so, defensive stops was very key to our success tonight. And trying to be the communicator, being the Ed Reed of the team, being able to see things, bark out calls, and being able to make plays. And, I was able to make a couple.
You start 8 and 9 from the field efficiently on offense, and then down the stretch, it looked like AD was having an advantage, kept getting to the free throw line. What did you see getting him back in rhythm tonight?
That's what we want. We want to be well balanced, and we was able to do that tonight. I tried to start off the game being aggressive. I was able to get myself going, and then, AD was able to, facilitate down the stretch, and it was good basketball.
LeBron, what changed the tempo of the game? You guys very defensive, both teams, very close. Third quarter, you guys kind of started pulling away. What changed about that time?
Well, we continued to get defensive stops that allowed us to get out and run a little bit. We executed a lot better in that third quarter, but I think it was the defensive stops that allowed us to get out in the early break.
How have you felt about the sort of chemistry, on-court chemistry in the last 2 games for the team?
What do you mean? Feel great. Feel great.
Just been sort of some offensively, maybe just some possessions where it seems like the offense has sputtered a little bit.
No, I mean, listen, we had a bump game in Boston, but I feel great. Offense, our chemistry on the court is always great because how much we get along off the floor.
LeBron, is it still special?
Say that again? Yeah, I was more of a facilitator in the second half. Want to try to get AD going. He looked a little out of rhythm in the first half, so it's a point of emphasis for me to coming into the third quarter and in the fourth quarter to get him going. So that was the difference.
LeBron, is it still special for you after all these years to come and play at Madison Square Garden?
Yep, it's probably my favorite arena in the world to play as a visitor. Coming here, understanding the history, the mecca of basketball. Man, my son in the 9th grade, man. He's trying to worry about what project you got to turn in tomorrow. That's what we worried about right now, and
Scored in the first.
Say that again? Come straight out of high school, he someone that I use as inspiration. It was like, wow, seeing a kid at 17 years old coming into the NBA and trying to make an impact on the franchise, and I was like, I used that as motivation. He helped me, before he even knew of me because of what he was able to do. Just to be able to, at this point in my career, to share the same, jersey that he wore, be with this historical franchise, and just represent the purple and gold. It's very humbling. No, I can't sit here and say that I did, because we were just 2 totally different players. His willingness to do whatever it takes to win is something that you admired and love his drive to get better and better every year. But as far as his game, we're a different player. I'm more of a facilitator, and he's a natural born scorer. So we would have worked well together, as you saw in the Olympic team.
Last 2 questions.
LeBron, this year you talk about being a facilitator. You've been obviously playing the point more. It seems to really tailor to your game. How much have you enjoyed?
They a team who could score the basketball, and it was in a lot of close games. But we want to make sure we come out on the defensive end and impose our will and not play defense like we did the other night. And then offensively just play with a lot of pace and just get back to how we play basketball.
How about you personally? You sat out the 5 games, then in Boston the other night, some early foul trouble, not a lot of continuity for you. You feeling more like yourself?
We play well. We play well as a team, and guys made shots. But for me, I'm just trying to get back in the rhythm and just get my conditioning back.
You had a couple defensive highlights in the possession where you kind of stopped Julius from getting in the paint. What were you able to do physically on defense that enabled you to have that kind of sustained effort tonight?
I said they're a physical team, and so if you're not physical back, then they're going to overpower you. And I just tried to make sure that I I keep the ball in front, knowing that he looks to be very aggressive, going left, and just knowing his tendencies. And then, for everyone else, just knowing what they like to do best. Just try to stay in front, and if I do get beat off the dribble, knowing that I have my teammates behind me to help me and protect the rim. So, but I take pride in my defense, and in the second half, the coaches told me to try to set the tone defensively, and that's all I tried to do.
When you guys win a game like this against a team, you mentioned that they're better than the record suggests, but it's one of a struggling team overall, and they're hanging around most of the game. But then you look at the end of it, all your defensive numbers are pretty good. Hold them at 92 points, a bunch of blocks, bunch of steals. Is that like a satisfying formula to come out?
Anytime anyone plays against the Lakers, they're gonna shoot the ball well, and they came out shooting the ball extremely well. Dawson made a lot of threes. Bullock made some pull-ups. Taj hit some mid-range, so they were shooting the ball extremely well. Tough shots. Overall in the first half we held them to 48 points, which is great for us defensively. We just couldn't find the rhythm offensively to score enough. And then in the second half we just tried to keep scoring, and holding the team to 92 points is great for us defensively. But we got to try to keep that pace going and score more points.
Early in the second half, it seemed like LeBron was really made a concerted effort to pass and get other guys involved, and it seemed like that kind of energized the offense for a little stretch. I'm sure. You knew obviously he's a great passer, but playing with him, what's it like how does he dominate a game passing? And he's been doing it all year.
He's always a threat to score, and when everyone have their eyes on you, the coaches told me to try to set the tone defensively, and that's all I tried to do.
When you guys win a game,
and while they're ball watching, we're trying to cut or get in his vision where he's going to make the pass. Obviously he's a willing passer, and so we know that, and sometimes he'll shoot it and it goes in, and then sometimes we'll cut and just try to give him space in the post, and knowing that he's going to make the right play.
Is he even maybe more of a willing passer than he is a willing scorer, do you think?
No, I think it's a great balance. He knows when he needs to go score, and then he knows when he needs to pass. But he's just so aggressive. He's so dominant. He gets it in the paint, and he's able to get to the middle of the floor or go baseline, and if they help, he make the right plays. And it's our job to make shots for him.
Last two questions, please.
Can you just talk about what changed for you guys? It was very close the whole way, and then in the third quarter, you guys kind of got a big lead. What happened there? What made the difference?
We played a little bit more pace offensively. We made some shots, and then we were a little bit more physical on the defensive end. We came out with a defensive mindset in the second half, and we was able to run off their misses, and that's when we were at our best when we played in the transition game. So, we just try to be a little bit more physical, knowing they're a physical team, and match their physicality. And they like to crash offensive glass, so knowing that if they all crash, we get the rebound, we can get out and run, and try to get some points, some easy buckets in the fast break game.
When you talk about trying to find your rhythm kind of on the fly, what's the process of just knowing what you can do in the moment and picking those shots to do that?
Just getting back to my same shots. Just having the confidence in taking them. The team has been great of trying to get me the ball in spots where I can get some easy looks, and it's my job to rise up and knock them down. I think I got in a great rhythm, like I said, getting to the free throw line and seeing the ball go through the net early, and just try to play off of that. Just having the confidence of getting to my spots and making the right reads, and if I'm open, just having no hesitation mindset.
Frank said that you got the defensive game ball tonight, 5 steals, just generally disrupting stuff in the paint. What were you seeing and trying to impact on that side of the floor tonight?
All right, my man, don't do that. Just trying to be in a position where I can help my team be successful on the defensive end. It was a slow-paced game, so, defensive stance was very key to our success tonight. And trying to be the communicator, being the air read of the team, being able to see things, bark out calls, and being able to make plays. And, I was able to make a couple.
You start 8 of 9 from the field efficiently on offense, and then down the stretch, it looked like AD was having an advantage, kept getting to the free throw line. What did you see getting him back in rhythm tonight?
That's what we want. We want to be well balanced, and we was able to do that tonight. I tried to start off the game being aggressive. I was able to get myself going, and then, AD was able to, facilitate down the stretch, and it was good basketball.
LeBron, what changed the tempo of the game? You guys very defensive, both teams, very close. Third quarter, you guys kind of started pulling away. What changed about that time?
Well, we continue to get defensive stops that allowed us to get out and run a little bit. We executed a lot better in that third quarter, but I think it was the defensive stops that allowed us to get out in the early break.
How have you felt about the sort of chemistry, on-court chemistry in the last 2 games for the team?
What do you mean? Feel great. Feel great.
Just been sort of some offensively, maybe just some possessions where it seems like the offense has sputtered a little bit.
No, I mean, listen, we had a bump game in Boston, but